There's a nice paper in this pack that we have by Schengen Fan, which is a kind of scorecard of how we're doing on some of these topics, food stocks and so on, and international arrangements. So you might want to have a look at that. Let's just pause, talk to your neighbour, please, for the next 2 minutes, and discuss the following question. Not the World Cup, that's later. Not the Indian elections, that's during the coffee break. Talk about, first of all, some of you didn't like this definition of resilience. I'd like to hear a bit more about that. But also let's talk about the practical problems of both sides of this equation. How do we make the people and the systems more robust, and how do we reduce the probability of shocks? And come up with something challenging and provocative that you can share with us. But anyway, talk to your neighbour for the next 2 minutes, starting now.
So, you know, it's funny, I completely agree with what we said already about the idea of nutrition being important in health. But I think that's the wrong level of analysis,
well, it would be nice
right?
Have we got any?
At the end of the day, healthy behaviors, right, to market information, don't come from nowhere, right? Those are generated inside networks.
So I was going to...
Right, so if we're going to invest in nutrition, if we're going to invest in health, we're going to invest in market, the last mile, whatever Kaylan Wu said, what we need to be investing in is social infrastructure, right, at the end of the day. Those connections, that trust, that lubricate those market transactions, reduce transaction costs, make children more likely to listen to parents. My parents able to access information. How do you know about this new program, right? Is it top down? Is it from friends nearby? So I agree with what we've heard so far, but I think we're missing a level. It might, yeah, it could. Right. Yeah. So how about you? So when you guys come in to a project, what's your angle then? What's your approach?
I mean, this is the very first point.
No, it's okay. I'll manage without it. Okay.
Interesting. All right.
All right, thank you very much. So tell me, who's going to win the World Cup? Any views?
Brazil.
No, that's the wrong. England is the right answer. We don't have any mobile microphones, so I am going to walk down the aisle and share my mobile mic. And I just want 3 people to say something in not more than 3 or 4 sentences, 60 seconds, one big idea to contribute to the discussion. I'm going to start down in that corner over there, then I'll come to the front, then I'll do one over there. So I'm going to gallop down here. Somebody put up your hand if you'd like to say something over here. 60 seconds.
Fine, yeah. My name is Sadek Abate. I work for the International Center for Maize and Wheat Improvement, CIMMYT. I am of the opinion that there is enough knowledge to get things done. What we want to see, what we should want to know is how are we going to do it, who is going to do it, and in that context, I think it's the Africans for Africa who should be doing it. How are we going to enable Africans to do the things for themselves?
Should Africans pay more tax in order to deal with shocks?
They would do everything that...
Not more tax.
Very good. The IFPRI conference recommends that Africans pay more tax. Very good. Anybody over here? Yeah.
Hello, so I'm Dom Hunt with Concern Worldwide. I think on your definition, I think you need to add in stressors like climate change, like population growth, like urbanisation. And I think in dealing with stressors much better than we are doing, moving beyond the rhetoric and into action, we might start also influencing shocks.
It wasn't my definition. I thought it was John's, but then he gave us a different one. Anybody over here? Yeah.
Hi, Sophie from Oxfam. One of the topics we talked about is the asymmetry of information, especially when it comes to weather predictions and patterns. So if we could share earlier, for instance, forecasts would be useful.
And you think we don't have good forecasts from things like early warning systems?
We do. We do have forecasts. We don't have the systems to share the information on time.
I'm slightly amazed that after all these years we still don't, but if you say so, that's very good. Thank you. Okay, so two more. Somebody over at this side? Yes? Sit in the front row, sorry.
Thank you, Dan Blumhagen, USAID, working in Niger right now. One of the things that I'm concerned about is that we're speaking of health as a shock. And I think we should be talking much more about health as a cause of a lack of resistance. Thus we have, for example, we know that a large proportion of the malnourishment that we see is actually caused from a lack of, not from a lack of intake of calories, but from an output, febrile diseases, enteritis, and those sorts of things. So that I think we need to be incorporating that into our models to to improve resilience.
Thank you very much. And I'll take one more from somewhere down here. Lady over there. Man over there, sorry.
Thank you. I would like to actually, my name is Farhad Mazhar, I'm from Bangladesh. I would like to actually add to the thinking of, as it is talking about the definition of the resilience. I think unless you bring into the issue of unexpectedness, resilience doesn't make any sense. I mean, whatever definitions you gave, it doesn't make any sense because anticipation or analysis, this is actually related to the capacity of a community or the state. So the resilience is something which state or the community or whatever at whatever level is the skill and the knowledge and the culture to meet the unexpectedness, which is not to be anticipated.
This is this famous thing about the known unknowns and the unknown unknowns. I mean, can we put probabilities around some of these?
No, I don't want to be very philosophical on that. I am really trying, because here most of us are more interested about policy making level. So it will be useful for the policymakers if we can really demonstrate that there is certain unexpectedness always appears in a system. And if a system is ready for that unexpectedness, then we can really come to the definition of resilience. Otherwise, other definition is not very useful.
Thank you very much. Panel, what's interesting about this is that some people are completely in support of this idea of the healthy system, building the capacity to withstand sometimes the expected, sometimes the unexpected. But everybody also recognizes that there are big shocks, that the information is not as good as it should be to prepare for them. And then people have very different ideas about what should be the entry points. Some of you have talked about school feeding, about micronutrients. Other people have talked about health interventions and so on. I'm slightly anxious we're going to end up with a very long list of things to do and no way of choosing between them. So perhaps for the last three panelists in your introduction, you say whatever you want to say, but perhaps also think about that question. So Ashleen, we'll go to you next.